Welcome back to Factorio in the March 2021 community map. So last time I got all the robots going, as well as the resources for them, namely the new fluids and batteries. This time I need to get processor units, as I'm going to need them for both the next stance. I'm also going to go up to power armor if I can, because that's going to give me a lot more equipment grid space. Potentially I could go for modular armor as like an interim solution, but power armor is now so close because I've not really paid attention to this research tree that all I need there is the processing units and I can get it. And then potentially some stuff for these because like this needs low density structures. But I already have the resources for low density structures. Essentially I need to make plastic and I do need it for the yellow utility science. First up though, I think I'm going to do some more resource expansion again because things like steel and stuff are still just not enough. So a really quick mall update because I didn't do this last time. I do want to make the Roboports automatically. And probably have to move this actually eventually because there's the 30 of a semi machine. That's going to require modules and stuff, so I might just move the whole lot. But yeah, this is a very quick update just to get those Roboports so I can start expanding the network. So what I'm thinking for processing units is I need acid. I'm not quite sure on the ratios. I'm just going to do 1:1. And this has a little storage tank, so that hopefully when it fills up these wagons, it doesn't like completely drain the system and cause these miners to stop because there's no acid while this is pumping. And that's a really good reason to put filters on your wagons. I didn't really intend to stop right in front of that coal there. So yeah, I think I started doing, because I noticed the trains were running out of fuel, is putting a little coal chest down. Normally I'd wait until I had logistics networks and I could put a requester chest down and just let the robots handle refueling. But since I'm still like quite a long way from that, I need the yellow science. It is down. There it is. I need this. It's going to cost 4,000 and I need that science still. It's currently putting down steel chests to hopefully cope with that. So I got the processor units mine done. So this is going to be a standard sort of layout. I've just got the 2 wagons here. I used the standard splitter and 2 tanks to provide some buffer. And that was the one over here. So I had to build a little bit of track to get here. Now, because it's the first train I'm doing with like 2 fluids, something I've realised is that the empty and the full conditions aren't really going to work because I actually need to finish that track. Not going to work because I need it to actually be empty of one thing and full of another. So what I'm going to do is where's the mine? I'm going to say as soon as the sulfuric acid is empty, or as soon as I think it's what 10 by 4, so 40 by 100. So that's what 4,000 each. I think it's 8,000. Check my math later, but I think it's 8,000 circuits I can carry in one go with 2 wagons. So basically when this is empty or this is full, go back to the thing. And then this one is going to wait until it has fully loaded the acid. So it's going to be 2 lots of 25, so 50,000. Or until it has, well no, and. So it's also going to empty all of the circuits. Less than or equal 0. So I've got a few circuits here to start off with. I think we can get that train now. And because it has actually basically taken all the sulfuric acid, so it needs to go get some more. So I'm going to just hold on to those personally because once this power arm and stuff is done, I do want some of those. Go to there first. It needs 40, so that gives me a reasonable number. And I don't think I can do anything else really to craft ahead of time. Electric engines I can go and pick up. So that would be really helpful. So coming around to here, the train should fill up with sulfuric acid. Then it should empty out the circuits, but I've already taken them. And hopefully it won't take too long to fill up because yeah, I've got these tanks to provide the buffer so that like so it can fill up quite quickly. Although once it starts coming back with full loads of circuits, it will take more time to actually unload the circuits than those pumps take. The important bit being it didn't starve all the batteries of sulfuric acid in the meantime. So looking at what I've got next, I've got the steel here. I might expand it one more time. Let's just see what that would look like. That would come up to, try and get the belts included because it's easier to see. That would come up to here. So I think the rest of this space, what I can do is do the low density structure here because that's a lot of item compression and it's near the copper. Can bring the coal across here as well. Now I could take it directly from the mine, but I'd rather take it from essentially the station once this runs out. And I'd actually like to deplete this as quickly as possible as well. So I'm going to take the coal from there And it's also near the gas there, because I don't want to take it from too far away. You need a lot of plastic. And I don't want to have to pipe like large volumes of liquid, because once you start getting to the pipe limit, doing it over large distances is just a pain. And I think by the time this is not big enough, I'll be ready just to use trains for stuff. So starting out the plastic, I haven't actually made plastic yet because I have the Minable Intermediates, so I can just well get the red circuits without having to make them. Normally I'd have made them for, normally I'd have made plastic to make red circuits. So what I think I'm going to do is something like that. Then I can have the coal on one side coming down here, and the actual plastic can go up there. And I always end up needing a lot of plastic, so let's just make this a fast belt to start with. And then as I copy paste it to be bigger, that should work out. And that can just copy paste. And then this here will be the gas. And that will be the coal. Now the reason I've done it this way is because you get 2 plastic for every coal. So it's more important to have the fast inserters here than it is over here. And I guess I could have put the coal down there as well and done inserters the other way. But this should work perfectly fine for what is needed. Then coming on to the low density structure itself, this needs a lot of plastic, a lot of copper and a little bit of steel. So I think what I can do is if I have one output, put those the wrong distance, and then have 2 inputs. So I'm going to have a complete belt of plastic, that's the hardest one, and then one half belt with half steel, half copper. That seems the most straightforward way here. Then I can have a second one there and they'll both insert onto this middle one. So that's what I've come up with at the moment. So the copper comes down here, that's copper splitter over there, so I haven't actually added more copper just yet. And that side loads with the steel here. Then the plastic, that's just coming along with 2 separate belts. And I'm going to see how it goes, and I think I've got enough production right now to run all of these simultaneously, so I just have to see how it goes and see which bits of it need improving. But for the output can come down the middle, and that's just going to go and link up the other stuff. So looking a little bit ahead to the utility science, this needs 1 flying robot frame to make 3 things. So I need to actually figure out the ratio on that, just give me a moment. Okay, so back from doing math on this. So this here makes 3 every 21 seconds, which means it makes 1 every 7 seconds. So 7 machines to make 1. I want to make 8, so that's 7 by 8, which gives me 56. And then 1 robot frame makes 3 of those, so I only actually need 1 every 3 seconds. So if we did 20, but I don't need 20, that's 1 a second, so I need 20 over 3, which is 6, but I want 8, which gives me about 53 and a third, so I can make 54 of those. And then likewise for engines, so 1 engine makes 3 packs, so I need a third every second, but I want to make 8 units, which means I want 2 2/3 engines per second, and if each one takes 10 seconds, I think 27 is the round number on that. And then coming to pipes, if I'm making 2 2/3, that's going to be, let's call it 3, that is 6 pipes every second. To make 6 pipes every second, one of these makes 2 pipes a second, so I need 3 pipes. Which actually means I need less engines than I did there, but I need more steps involved, which means the total resource consumption is actually going to be quite a bit. So 3 engines, let's just put that there. Then, well, 3 pipes, then to 27 engines. So that's going to look like that. Let's just put that a bit 1 tile, 2 tiles, 3 tiles away from the Roboports. That actually gives me quite a lot of space over here. Maybe I could even do electric engines inline. That just about fits. If I've got these numbers right, then that is perfect. So that'd be electric engines doing, I'll work out the fluids in a bit, so they'll be basically all along there, give 27 of those. And I think then I'd want a belt. The other way of doing this would be direct insertion, could actually be the better way. That would look like this, and then I just insert across. Now I think direct inserts, it saves having a belt entirely, that's kind of nice. Then for the 54 of these, I'd want to have 2 sets of 27, which actually did fit here. So then the question is, can I do something clever to have these essentially like this here? And I guess the way to do it would be to have the inputs all down the middle, have the outputs probably go like this and then merge them around. And you actually think about it, like I've got the space here to do something. Maybe I should just take the space I'm offered and move this all down by 3. Because I think if I move this down by 3, so instead of it being placing these large copies is difficult. Let's try that again. That's 1, 2, 3. Down by 3 would be there, which doesn't actually stick out over that way at all. And it gives me a bit more freedom over here in case I need anything. Then the low density structures and the processing units for this, well, they're both just going to come off the bus. So that's going to be one belt for these guys and then one belt for the stuff off the bus. And that will give me utility silence. Pardon me, that will give me utility silence. So let's see if I can plumb this all together in a relatively sane manner. So in fact, using a vertically standard out there, I'll go over that in a moment. Already come to be happy that I left myself additional space because I think I really want these to be like, not quite there, they need 1 tile more. There. But having this additional like 3 tile gap here is going to let me get the belts into the middle, which otherwise could have been a little bit of a challenge if I left myself no tile spare. So I believe I now have something working. So what I've done is taken the arm plates off of there and immediately exposed the fact that there's actually not enough arm plates because I forgot to upgrade a couple of belts there and there. So I guess that was a good bug detection. So the arm plates will come down here and then the pipes here. The gears will come off of here. More about that later, but the gears come down here and then so 2 things, and these are just for the engines. Then on this one I have steel and batteries. The engines just want the steel. The batteries go here and this wants the steel and the batteries. So that's what that's for. Engines get loaded directly across to the electric engines, which have the lubricant. They get the circuits off of one side and put the electric engines on the other side. And then the robot frames use both the electric engines and the circuits here. So this gives them the 4 things with the common parts coming from either side. Engines will then, well, robot frames will then get put around here, which will come around here, make itself available to all of these yellow slants. And the yellow slants will get the low density structure and the processing units off of here. Probably not got anywhere close enough processing units yet, but this does at least do the layout. And I think this is a pretty tidy layout as things go. This here still kind of got the vertical like strips I wanted. With all these junctions coming off everywhere, it's a bit of a mess though, but there's a lot of like different things needed and lots of half belts, certain full belts, certain belts with 2 things and stuff. So I'm not too upset with this, it does still look fairly nice. And what I've got here cooking is personal batteries. I'm going to make these into Mark II batteries once I get the low density structure. So I've got stuck here. Right now I've not got that though, so I'm just going to hang on to them. I do have the power armor, so if I move this stuff out of here, move in the power armor over here, this can now just go. I'm not going to use the light armor anymore, so the power armor, this grid is now 7x7 instead of 2x4, which means I can fit an awful lot more stuff, including the better Roboports. I guess I'll just keep this for now though, till I decide what to do with it, because it does all add up. So even though it's not as good, it gives me some more robots and some more construction area. And I'll now be able to have 40 robots. I'll probably pick up a stack of 50 of the good ones. Batteries, I'm going to put the batteries like there. In fact, let's move that up there. And then let's see how many of these solar panels I can fit in. I made 20 of them. Okay, that's a reasonable start. And do I have any of those batteries left to use up? Do have a few, so I'm just going to put this here for the time being until I use those batteries up. But I think I'm going to stick with solar because even though this is slightly more dense, it does 150 versus 30 by 4, 120, and it works all the time. I'm having to go back to get batteries. The solar panels have the convenience factor and the power armour has enough space for a reasonable number of them. So hopefully this will once charged up and with all these batteries, especially once I get the Mark II batteries, once I have low density. Once it's all charged up, I think hopefully it will carry me through the night as long as I'm not constantly building. One possible downside to the design is because the low density comes in this way and the robot frames come in this way, they actually start filling up the assembly machines from opposite ends, so it has to wait until they kind of meet in the middle. But I do now have the first assembly machines running and making me yellow science packs, which means I actually don't need this uranium processing, it's just stuff to do. What it does mean though is I can now get the logistics system. That's going to be very nice to have these next time for the requested chest, active provider. Not so worried about the buffer chest. The requested chest though is definitely a really useful thing, and the active provider has some cases so it's useful. Also get additional robot speed. Actually can get 2 of those till this one. I haven't got the purple science yet, but it gets me the next 2 of those. That would be a nice speed boost. 18% there, 13% there. Remember the basic robots boosted the base speed, but they should work out about the same overall. And also stuff like Personal Robot 2. I can't get the mine productivity, I do need to get the purple for that. But that's going to be quite useful as well for even better Roboports. And what else do we have here that's useful? Definitely need to go into the purple as soon as possible though. Rocket control unit, that's going to be useful because that's another criteria to get to the rocket silo. And actually I've got most of the resources for that. I can make speed modules. Quite possibly what I should do next is actually start looking at modules more seriously because they could save me some resources. But I just haven't really got around to it so far. I've been so busy with other stuff. But that's all going to be stuff to do for next time. So if you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe and enable your notifications.